Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, we'll explore the transformative ideas from Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. In this compelling book, Holiday dissects the multifaceted nature of ego and its pervasive influence on our lives. Ego, as Holiday defines it, is not merely self-confidence or a healthy sense of self-worth. Instead, it's an unhealthy belief in our own importance, a distortion of our sense of self that can lead to arrogance and an inflated sense of superiority. Holiday's message is clear: ego is a double-edged sword that, if not kept in check, can lead to our downfall. The book is structured around the three phases of life: aspiration, success, and failure, each of which presents unique challenges and opportunities to manage our ego. Throughout these phases, Holiday provides insights, historical examples, and philosophical wisdom to illustrate how ego can either be our greatest obstacle or, if understood and controlled, a tool for achieving lasting success. In the next sections, we will delve into these phases in greater detail, examining how ego manifests at each stage and how we can navigate these challenges to avoid the pitfalls of ego-driven decisions. Ego during aspiration. In the phase of aspiration, Holiday paints a vivid picture of how ego can subtly but destructively influence our journey toward our goals. When we are aspiring to achieve something, whether it's personal growth, a professional milestone, or a creative endeavor, ego tends to create illusions. It whispers false assurances, telling us that we are destined for greatness without the need for sustained effort. It convinces us that we are special, that the rules that apply to others somehow do not apply to us. Holiday argues that in this phase, ego is the voice that distracts us from the reality of the hard work, learning, and patience required to achieve our goals. It can make us overestimate our skills and underestimate the challenges ahead. This false sense of security can lead to premature action, ill-preparedness, and ultimately, failure. To combat this, Holiday emphasizes the importance of remaining a student, continuously seeking knowledge and improvement. He advocates for humility, which means accepting that we don't know everything and that there's always room to grow. This mindset keeps us grounded, ensuring that our aspirations are built on a solid foundation of reality rather than the fragile constructs of ego. Ego during success. Success, as Holiday discusses, is perhaps the most dangerous phase for ego to manifest. Once we achieve a goal or attain a level of success, ego inflates, making us believe we are invincible. This phase is characterized by complacency, where the drive and hunger that fueled our initial success start to wane. Ego tells us that we've made it, that we're above the rules and criticism that apply to others. Holiday provides a stark warning: the moment we think we've arrived is the moment we begin to fall. Success can blind us to the ongoing effort needed to maintain and build upon our achievements. It can isolate us from constructive feedback, making us resistant to change and innovation. To navigate this phase, Holiday suggests practicing gratitude and adopting a mindset of continuous learning, no matter how successful we become. By staying humble and keeping the bigger picture in mind, we can ensure that our success is not a peak but a plateau on which we can build further. Ego during failure. Failure is a phase that tests our resilience and character. Here, ego can be our worst enemy or our greatest teacher, depending on how we respond. Holiday discusses how failure can devastate those who are too attached to their ego, leading to denial, blame, and inaction. Ego tries to shield us from the pain of failure by distorting reality, making us believe that external factors are to blame rather than our own actions or decisions. Holiday encourages us to embrace failure as an opportunity for growth. He believes that every setback is a chance to learn, adapt, and improve. This requires us to let go of our ego, accept responsibility, and approach failure with curiosity rather than defensiveness. The key, according to Holiday, is to view failure not as a personal indictment but as a necessary step in the journey of success. This perspective helps us to recover, rebuild, and move forward with renewed insight and strength. The role of ego in personal development. As we continue exploring ego is the enemy, it becomes clear that personal development is one of the most critical arenas where ego plays a significant role. Holiday emphasizes that personal growth requires a certain level of vulnerability, an openness to acknowledging our flaws, weaknesses, and areas needing improvement. Ego, however, stands as a barrier to this openness, often convincing us that admitting our shortcomings is a sign of failure or inadequacy. Holiday argues that to truly grow, we must confront and dismantle our ego. This process involves embracing the concept of self-awareness, which is the ability to objectively reflect on our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. By doing so, we create a space where we can assess ourselves honestly and make conscious efforts to improve. The practice of humility, which Holiday frequently returns to, is vital in personal development. He suggests that humility allows us to approach life with a learner's mindset, constantly seeking wisdom and guidance from others without the interference of ego-driven pride. By staying humble, we open ourselves to a wealth of knowledge and experiences that can significantly enhance our personal and professional lives. Ego in leadership and decision-making. Leadership is another critical area where ego can wreak havoc if not controlled. Holiday dedicates significant attention to how ego can distort leadership and decision-making. Leaders who allow their egos to dominate may prioritize personal recognition over the collective good, leading to poor decision-making and a toxic work environment. Holiday argues that effective leadership requires empathy, humility, and a clear understanding that a leader's role is to serve others, not themselves. Ego, on the other hand, drives leaders to seek validation and control, often at the expense of their team's morale and success. In decision-making, ego can lead to overconfidence, where leaders make choices based on their perceived superiority rather than objective analysis. Holiday cautions against this, urging leaders to seek diverse perspectives and remain open to feedback. By doing so, they can make more informed and balanced decisions, free from the distortions of ego. The destructive power of entitlement. Holiday delves deeply into the concept of entitlement, a byproduct of unchecked ego. Entitlement is the belief that we deserve certain privileges or success without putting in the requisite effort. This mindset can be incredibly destructive, as it breeds complacency and a lack of accountability. Holiday illustrates how entitlement can derail careers and personal relationships by fostering unrealistic expectations and a sense of superiority. He emphasizes that nothing worthwhile is handed to us, it must be earned through hard work, dedication, and humility. The antidote to entitlement, he suggests, is gratitude, recognizing and appreciating the opportunities and support we receive along the way. Gratitude helps us to stay grounded and keeps our ego in check, reminding us that our achievements are often the result of collective effort rather than individual greatness. By practicing gratitude regularly, we can cultivate a mindset that values effort and contribution over mere entitlement. The importance of quieting the ego. In this part, Holiday introduces the concept of quieting the ego, a practice that involves reducing the noise of our internal narrative to focus on what truly matters. He discusses how ego often creates a relentless inner dialogue that distracts us from our goals, fills our minds with unnecessary worries, and inflates trivial matters into significant concerns. Holiday advises that to quiet the ego, we need to cultivate mindfulness and presence. This means being fully engaged in the present moment rather than being consumed by past glories or future anxieties. By practicing mindfulness, we can observe our thoughts without judgment, allowing us to see through the illusions created by ego. Quieting the ego also involves letting go of the need for external validation. Holiday emphasizes that our self-worth should not be tied to the approval of others or the accolades we receive. Instead, we should derive fulfillment from our intrinsic values and the joy of doing meaningful work. Ego and the pursuit of mastery. Holiday explores the relationship between ego and the pursuit of mastery, underscoring how ego can disrupt our journey toward becoming experts in our chosen fields. Mastery is a lifelong endeavor, requiring dedication, continuous learning, and a willingness to evolve. However, ego often interferes by convincing us that we have already arrived at the pinnacle of our abilities, discouraging further growth. Holiday warns that ego can make us complacent, leading us to rest on our laurels instead of pushing ourselves to improve. This is particularly dangerous in fields that require constant innovation and adaptation. He encourages readers to adopt the mindset of a perpetual student, always seeking to refine their skills and expand their knowledge. The pursuit of mastery, as Holiday illustrates, is not just about accumulating accolades or recognition, it's about the relentless drive to perfect one's craft. By silencing the ego, we can focus on the work itself rather than the external rewards, leading to a deeper sense of fulfillment and genuine expertise. Ego and the illusion of control. Another significant theme in Ego is the Enemy is the illusion of control that ego creates. Holiday discusses how ego makes us believe that we can control outcomes, people, and even the circumstances of our lives. This illusion can lead to frustration and disappointment when reality does not conform to our expectations. Holiday highlights the importance of recognizing what we can control, our actions, responses, and attitudes, and letting go of what we cannot. By focusing on our sphere of influence, we reduce the stress and anxiety associated with trying to control the uncontrollable. This concept is particularly relevant in times of uncertainty or crisis. Ego, driven by the fear of losing control, can exacerbate these situations, leading to rash decisions and emotional turmoil. Holiday advises cultivating resilience and adaptability, which are grounded in the understanding that while we cannot control every aspect of our lives, we can always control how we respond to them. Ego and the pitfalls of comparison. Holiday also delves into the destructive habit of comparing ourselves to others, which is often fueled by ego. In a world where social media and external validation play significant roles, it's easy to fall into the trap of measuring our worth against the achievements of others. Ego thrives on comparison, constantly seeking validation through the perceived inferiority or superiority of others. Holiday argues that this mindset is not only harmful but also futile, as it diverts our attention from our own journey and unique path. He suggests focusing inward, on our personal goals and values, rather than outward, on what others are doing. By doing so, we can cultivate a sense of contentment and purpose that is independent of external benchmarks. This inward focus helps us to grow authentically, free from the distortions and distractions that ego creates through comparison. The practice of self-discipline to tame the ego. Self-discipline is another tool Holiday recommends for managing ego. He explains that discipline helps us to maintain control over our impulses, desires, and reactions, which are often driven by ego. By practicing discipline, we create a structure within which our ego has less room to operate. Holiday emphasizes that discipline is not about deprivation or rigid control, but about creating habits and routines that support our long-term goals. It's about making conscious choices that align with our values and aspirations rather than succumbing to the whims of ego. Through discipline, we can build resilience against the temptations of ego, such as the desire for immediate gratification, recognition, or power. It allows us to stay focused on what truly matters, helping us to navigate life with clarity and purpose. The dangers of overconfidence. Holiday addresses the dangers of overconfidence, a common byproduct of an inflated ego. Overconfidence often arises when we achieve some level of success and begin to believe that we are infallible. This mindset can lead to reckless decisions, ignoring advice, and underestimating challenges. Holiday emphasizes that overconfidence blinds us to the reality of our limitations and the complexities of the situations we face. It creates a false sense of security that can lead to significant mistakes and failures. He advises cultivating a healthy skepticism of our abilities, not to undermine confidence, but to keep it grounded in reality. Maintaining a balanced view of our strengths and weaknesses allows us to approach challenges with humility and caution, ensuring that our decisions are well-informed and measured. By acknowledging that we don't have all the answers, we open ourselves to learning and adapting, which are essential for sustained success. The role of patience in controlling ego. Patience is another virtue that Holiday highlights as a counterbalance to ego. Ego often drives us to seek immediate results and recognition, pushing us toward hasty decisions and actions. However, true success and mastery require time, effort, and perseverance. Holiday advocates for patience as a means to temper the impulsive tendencies of ego. He explains that patience allows us to build a solid foundation for our goals, ensuring that our progress is sustainable and not just a fleeting achievement. It helps us to endure setbacks and challenges with grace, viewing them as part of the process rather than insurmountable obstacles. By practicing patience, we can resist the urge for instant gratification and remain focused on our long-term vision. This perspective not only helps us to achieve our goals, but also ensures that our accomplishments are meaningful and lasting. The value of silence and reflection. In a world that often rewards noise and visibility, Holiday underscores the value of silence and reflection in managing ego. He argues that taking time to be quiet and introspective allows us to detach from the constant external stimuli that feed our ego. Silence provides a space for self-reflection, where we can evaluate our thoughts, actions, and motivations without the interference of ego-driven desires. It helps us to gain clarity about what truly matters and to distinguish between our genuine aspirations and the illusions created by ego. Holiday suggests incorporating regular moments of silence and reflection into our lives as a practice of self-awareness. This practice helps us to stay connected with our true selves, making it easier to recognize and control the influence of ego in our decisions and actions. The importance of resilience. Resilience is a recurring theme in Holiday's discussion of ego. He explains that resilience, the ability to recover from setbacks and keep going, is essential in the face of ego's attempts to derail us. Ego often magnifies our failures and successes, making it difficult to maintain perspective. Holiday encourages developing resilience by viewing challenges as opportunities for growth rather than as threats to our ego. Resilience allows us to bounce back from adversity, learn from our experiences, and continue moving forward with renewed strength and determination. He emphasizes that resilience is not about suppressing our emotions or denying the impact of difficulties, but about embracing them as part of the journey. By cultivating resilience, we build the mental and emotional fortitude needed to navigate life's ups and downs without being dominated by our ego. Ego and relationships. Holiday explores how ego can damage our relationships, whether personal or professional. Ego often drives us to prioritize our needs and desires over those of others, leading to conflicts and misunderstandings. It makes us less empathetic and more defensive, preventing us from truly connecting with others. Holiday stresses the importance of humility and empathy in fostering healthy relationships. By keeping our ego in check, we can listen more effectively, understand different perspectives, and build stronger, more meaningful connections. He suggests that real strength in relationships comes from vulnerability and the willingness to admit our flaws and mistakes. Ego can also lead us to dominate conversations, seek constant validation, or diminish the contributions of others. Recognizing these behaviors and actively working to counter them is essential for maintaining balance and harmony in our interactions. The long-term perspective. Holiday emphasizes the importance of adopting a long-term perspective to mitigate the impact of ego. Ego often fixates on short-term gains and immediate gratification, neglecting the broader, long-term consequences of our actions. This short-sightedness can lead to decisions that may offer quick rewards but ultimately undermine our goals and well-being. By focusing on long-term objectives, we can make more strategic and thoughtful decisions that align with our core values and aspirations. Holiday advises readers to regularly reflect on their long-term vision, ensuring that their daily actions and choices contribute to sustainable success and fulfillment. This perspective also helps us to remain patient and resilient, understanding that meaningful achievements take time and consistent effort. It encourages us to invest in processes and habits that support long-term growth rather than chasing fleeting victories. Final reflections and conclusion. In the concluding section of Ego is the Enemy, Holiday ties together the lessons and insights from the previous parts, reinforcing the central theme that ego is not just an occasional hindrance, but a constant challenge that requires vigilant management. Holiday invites readers to reflect on their own lives and consider how ego might be influencing their thoughts, decisions, and interactions. He encourages an ongoing commitment to self-awareness, humility, and discipline, which are the antidotes to ego's pervasive influence. Ultimately, the book is a call to embrace a life of purpose and clarity, where our sense of self is not dictated by external accolades or comparisons, but by our inner values and dedication to growth and contribution. By mastering our ego, we unlock the potential to live authentically, achieve genuine success, and build lasting, meaningful legacies.